right, and the last thing I want to talk about, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this either, is what Insomniac did with Spider-Man 2 that I think was, what's the word I want to look for? Wrong? Kind of a little bit of hypocritical? Not really giving a shit. Now, we already touched on the fact of the Cuban flag being replaced, or replacing the Puerto Rican flag by somebody ignorant. And they have since then gone back and fixed it. And I did go back into the game just to verify that it did, and yes, it did. But the other thing I found out, and I'm mad at myself for not even touching on this last week when I was talking about this anyhow, was in the Spanish overlay, or the Spanish version, if you set the language to Spanish, they changed some of the language to fit gender neutrality. Now, what do I mean by this? Okay, so when you form a sentence in Spanish, there are certain words that have a feminine and masculine context to it. La, lo, un, una. The A at the end means it's a feminine form. O or un is a masculine form on the sentence. It's what helps form the sentence. They, when I say they, I mean Insomniac, changed it to there is no O or A. There is no more masculine and feminine connotations in sentences. They left off that letter and just cut it off there. So I was like, what the fuck is that? Like I listened to it. I was like, what the fuck is that? So they took away and the reason why they did it is, get this, is to be more gender neutral, to fit into what we as a society here in America seem to be doing more and more every single day. So Insomniac took it upon themselves to change the Spanish language, a language that's not even yours, a language you have no business even touching. You're going to change it to westernize it and to fit it into what our society is here today. I'm here to tell you, as a Hispanic American myself, you have no right to touch our language. You have no right to make any changes to it because you want to try to make it gender inclusive. So you want to change the entire language so it fits that narrative. Sorry. No, you do not. You do not touch it. And it's because of stupid shit like this that you're going to get fan backlash for it. And why I knock it off a couple points in the review. You don't get the right to do that. That is not for you to do. You are not the say all be all when it comes to languages being spoken. You don't get the right to make any changes to it. Now, some of y'all that have no idea what I'm talking about, don't understand it, that's perfectly fine. Stay in that realm where you don't understand it. I'm just telling you, as a Hispanic American, that I can understand the language and the dialect. You cannot change it to fit your narrative. If that's the case, can you explain to me, Insomniac? And I don't know how many of you fans out there actually know this, but can you explain to me why you're willing to do that? And in our version of the game, we get all the pride flags, the gay relationships in the game. We get those storylines. We get all that. But in other markets where that's not really a thing, well, that's not like a popular thing, you remove all that. You remove it all. Those scenes those flags, that representation is literally deleted from the game. It is not there. You don't believe me? Go look at videos from different regions of Spider-Man, of the gameplay. It's not there. The gay quest line with the student from the university that Miles helps is not in the game. The fact that Black Cat said she was going to go help her girlfriend in another country, that's not in the game. You go over to that country for that particular game, it's reversed. They chose to do that so they can actually sell their game in those regions. They want to make money on it. And I guarantee you they probably didn't change the Spanish language over there to make it more gender inclusive. They're going to do that here, but then when they want to go sell that game into a different region, they axe all that. You can't have your cake and eat it too. And I heard Angry Joe say this on his review of the game, and I totally 100% agree. You cannot go out there and say that we are inclusive, we're doing all this to be inclusive, and then delete those segments from the game just so you can sell it in a different region. You either include it or you don't. You pick one or the other. You don't try to juggle between the two just because you want to make more money in certain regions and you want to be able to sell it in certain regions. No, you either do it or you don't. Show your cojones and actually do it. If you want to do it that way, then do it. And at the same time, you do not change the fucking Spanish language. You don't have that right. I don't care who you think you are or how much power you think you possess. You do not have that fucking right. That is not you. You're going to change the fucking language around so it fits your narrative and to be gender supportive. That's not that language. That's not how that language is done. So you're going to change up a whole fucking heritage? I don't think so. I'm surprised you haven't gotten more backlash for that particular shit. You seem to have gotten more backlash because of the fucking Cuban and Puerto Rican flag, rightfully so. But I think this kind of went a little bit more unnoticed because, I mean, in all honesty, who switches up the language to, like, they hear it in Spanish? Or when they want to read the subtitles, they put it in Spanish to kind of see what it has. And that's where fans started noticing the fuck up. Mainly from Spanish-speaking countries. I wonder who would notice that. You need to be like just taking the brass with this. I don't understand how you let this slide by. And I think because of shit like this, you don't deserve a fucking nod at the Game of the Year awards. And I'm going to get more into that on the review segment, on what my actual thoughts and feelings on Spider-Man 2. But you don't have that right. Stay the fuck out the language. You don't have that right or that audacity to even remotely think about doing something like that. And with that, I think let's get right into Spider-Man 2. I'm ready. I'm ready to go with Spider-Man 2. We'll be right back.